Hello and welcome to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Rivals Dual Attack Parasaurolophus. If you watched my most recent episode of Toy Hunting Adventures, then you saw that I picked this up from a local Walmart, priced at $14.97. This is a species I was especially excited to get because it is one of our new species for 2019. And I've always had a fondness for Parasaurolophus. I just think it's a really cool looking dinosaur. It's a herbivore and it's a duck-billed dinosaur, very first one in the Jurassic World toy line from Mattel. Looking at the packaging, you have the very nice Dino Rivals aesthetic. Really like the colors. They're hard to miss on the shelf. The packaging really grabs your eye. At the top, it shows you can try it before you buy it. At the bottom, you get the usual graphics for Dino Rivals. And the color of the dinosaur itself quite nicely complements the colors of the packaging. At the back, you get a very nice look at the dinosaur in action. It says that you have head strike, and I really like that image there of the Parasaurolophus battling the Styracosaurus. It's kind of unusual, but it's kind of cool too. You also get tail strike. It says that you get a collector card and that it is Jurassic Facts compatible. And at the lower left, you see the other two dinosaurs available in this first wave of Dino Rivals Dual Attack Dinos. At the bottom, here's all the usual information that you would get, along with the UPC for those of you who need it, and as well as the batch number right there in case you want that too. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time and get our Parasaurolophus unboxed. When we come back, we will take a closer look. Alright, so here's the Parasaurolophus out of the packaging, and I really admire the sculpt. It's a little bit chunky, as you can see there in the midsection. I don't think they were quite this thick in The Lost World or in Jurassic World. We didn't really get to see them very well in Jurassic Park. But depending on where you look, this could actually be a little bit more accurate to real life, which is okay in my book, but it is a Jurassic Park toy, so I feel like it should look a little bit more like the films. My understanding is that they may have based this on promotional art that was used for the Jurassic World website. And if that's so, that's fine, but it should have had that paint scheme. But overall, I do prefer a film-accurate Parasaurolophus, so the slimmed-down aesthetic, which is more film-accurate with this paint coloration, would have been ideal. But that said, this is still a very nice-looking dinosaur. And as we've seen in the past, Mattel often makes concessions here and there. They often have to balance out what they're doing with the action features, the playability, the ability for the figure to balance. So it's hard to expect 100% movie accuracy. If we take a close-up look at the head sculpt, you can see that this was very nicely achieved. It looks quite film accurate. It looks exactly like a Parasaurolophus should if you've ever seen one in photos online or in paleoart or whatever. This is what they look like, so they did a really nice job there. The crest is nice and long. I think it's hard to argue that any other hadrosaur is cooler than the Parasaurolophus, at least in terms of aesthetic. The sculpt itself is pretty good in terms of the texturing, in terms of the sculpted detail. I would say it's a little bit light in the head. Like, there's not a whole lot of texture going on there. It's very soft, and the same is true of the crest. There is a little bit of detail, but it's not that rich. As you get farther down the body, you can see that it does get a little bit more detailed, such as on the back where you have more of this ridging taking place up here, more of the striations in the skin. It gets a little bit more detailed. Looking at the arms, you can see that one is posed as if it's in a walking position, and then the other one is posed as if it's on the ground. The nails were not painted on there. For the feet, you can see that those were painted, though the QC isn't perfect in this case. You can see that there's a little bit of, there's some spots there where they missed painting. Overall, it's got a very nice silhouette, I would say, but the sculpted detail itself is a little bit light. It's not bad. Not all these dinosaurs need to be the most detailed things in the world, especially being mass-produced toys, but I do feel like it's a little bit on the softer side than what we've seen with some of the other items from Mattel. I'll also say that the feet look a little bit stubby. This could be accurate, but they do look just a little bit plain. Just a little bit, a little bit stubby to me for some reason. The tail is nice. It looks to be of an appropriate length, I would say. And you can see that it does curve a little bit to the left side. Just kind of has a little bit of a curvature to it, which is cool. I'm glad that it's not just a straight tail. It's not really necessary, especially when it's in this walking position. So you do expect that, the tail's going to be helping it balance. It's going to be moving back and forth. Now, as far as this coloration goes, It is film accurate to the Lost World for the most part. It may be a little bit more vibrant than it was in the film. I think the yellow might be a little bit lighter here. It's kind of like a banana shade of yellow. And then on the head and on the neck, you can see that there's this very vibrant red. It's blended pretty well on the head itself, but not quite as well blended on the neck. In fact, it looks a little bit deeper in terms of the shade of red on the neck than it does on the head. There's also brown that was used for the actual crest, and then that does extend along the body with these patterns carrying here into the legs. That looks nice. It's nicely blended here into the body. It's a little bit harsher here on the legs, but not by that much. That does look quite nice. You can see it kind of goes into the neck a little bit as well. As with a lot of these Mattel Jurassic World dinos, if not most of them, you do have that sort of fleck that's included into the paint application or to the sculpt. On the body, you can see that it's kind of a little bit darker on this foot than that foot. But you do see that it has this shade of white on the belly, and that looks really nice. That does extend into the neck and down the body, and not into the tail, not all the way down the torso, in fact. But that's nice. I like that. Now, I will say that the mouth looks a little bit weird when you look at it from the front, especially. It just looks a little bit awkward. I don't know if that's the way it's sculpted or the way that it's painted. I do think it has to do with the way that it's painted, though, because if you look closely at that mouth, they didn't really paint the inside of the mouth. It looks like maybe there's a little bit of that orange from the head in there, but they just kind of took this brown right here and just like went over the inside of the mouth. So the roof of the mouth and the bottom part of the mouth are just brown, and that just looks a little bit strange to me. I really have no complaints here other than some little nitpicks that I've gone over. In terms of articulation, for the head and the neck, you do have a joint here at the top of the neck, and that enables you to make it look up or make it look down. You can even tilt it to the sides, but it doesn't look to one side or the other. It's not possible. There's a joint here that's built into the action feature. We will go over that. Here at the shoulders, you do have ball hinges, so you can get them out, you can get them forward, and they move like that. So that's pretty nice. Here at the hips, insert molded joints, so those go out a little bit, not a ton, but you can move them forward and back. They are ratcheted, so they do kind of click in place. And then the tail is also ingrained into the action feature as well. So let me show you how the two action features work, because this is a dual attack item, so you do incorporate the two action features. So the first one, you're going to see there's two buttons here on the back. So you're just going to press the forward button, and it does this head ramming action. And that's pretty cool. And then, being able to pose the neck, if you wanted to pose the neck, it just looks a little bit different. For the back, you have the secondary button on the back side. Press that, and it wags its tail. So all in all, it's nice. Dual attack, definitely fun if you're a kid. Personally, I'm okay with just the head being able to move, or even just the tail being able to move. It kind of would have been cool if this would have been a roar, because I can imagine the sounds would have been pretty neat. Having it make that howling, more of a hoot type sound that you hear from it in the Lost World. But, as a dual attack, it's still just as fun. If you're doing the Jurassic Facts app, go ahead and scan away. Oh, hi, cute little dinosaur. So if we bring in Owen, you can see how he scales up next to the Parasaurolophus, and it looks to be fairly accurate to my eye. I'm no dinosaur expert, though I know quite a bit about dinos. Okay, I'm a dino nerd, but I don't know everything. But to my eye, this looks pretty close. Here's the Dino Rivals card that is included with the Parasaurolophus, and you can see that its strength is a 6, so fairly strong. Its speed is a 4, it's not too fast. Its intelligence is a 3. It's not very smart. And then its ferocity is a 4. So it's probably not going to fare very well against a T-Rex or something. But look at the artwork. That is really nice. And I really like the pose that it's in. That definitely looks closer to what we see in the Lost World. I like the pose that the actual dinosaur is in, but I got to say, I would have loved it if they would have posed it like this. I think that would have been great as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Dino Rivals Dual Attack Parasaurolophus. Overall, you guys, I like this quite a bit. Is it perfect? No, but very few things in life are perfect, and Mattel's Jurassic World toy line is no exception. I think it's a very nice dinosaur. It may very well be my favorite in this first wave of dual attack dinos. The jury's kind of still out on that, but I'm kind of leaning toward that being the case. Look, I think it has a great sculpt. It looks very proportionate to what scientists think these guys would have looked like in real life. I do feel I may have liked it a little bit better if it were closer to the source material, that meaning closer to the Jurassic Park films and the Jurassic World films, but again, it's not gonna be perfect. I do think the coloration is quite nice, even if sculpted detail on the body is a little bit soft. They did an admirable job implementing the color scheme onto the dinosaur's body. So there's definitely more hits here than misses, and I think that it's one you really need to have in your collection because not only is it a new species for 2019, but it's also a species that we see in the Jurassic World films, and I think those are a little more important to me as a collector if I'm picking and choosing what to add to my collection. Definitely check this one out because it's great. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If so, do like, do subscribe, let your friends know about Cretaceous Cantina, and don't forget to let me know what you think about this dinosaur down in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest news and updates, and as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Cretaceous Cantina. Until next time, bye bye.